Hello. Hi. Welcome to my session. Today we'll be discussing the theater of the absurd. Now, let me show you what and tell you what you understand by the theater of the absurd. Well, the theater of the absurd is a theater genre that originated in the mid 20th century in Paris and spread to New York City, and the genre was inspired by uh, existentialist philosophy, most notably philosopher Albert Camus' essay "The Myth of Sisyphus." In this essay, Camus wrote that absurdism defined human existence. As such, existence was meaningless. So, the central claim of the theater of absurd is that human life is essentially meaningless and purposeless. And in 1961, critic Martin Lane coined the term theater of the absurd. He wrote a book called The Theater of the Absurd, and since then the term has become famous, and it is used to refer to the place of a group of playwrights like Edward Albee, Samuel Beckett, Eugene Ionesco, Arthur Adamov, Jean Janet, and N.F. Simpson. And the early works of Harold Pinter also belong to the theater of the absurd. Well, critic Martin Lane, as we have mentioned, coined the term the theater of the absurd. So it refers to the plays written between 1950s and 1960s, which this book, the theater of the absurd, written by Martin Lane, details how absurdist plays are not driven by realism, plot, character development, or any traditional notions of theater, because theater of the absurd breaks the normal tradition of the genre. Instead, absurdist theater focuses on the state of mind of its characters, as they are trapped in illogical and incomprehensible situations. Now, in fact, the origin of the theater of the absurd are rooted in the avant-garde experiments in art of the 1920s and 1930s. At the same time, it was undoubtedly strongly influenced by the traumatic experience of the horrors of the Second World War, which showed the total impermanence of any values, shook the validity of any conventions, and highlighted the precariousness of human life and its fundamental meaninglessness and arbitrariness. And well, the trauma of living from 1945 under the threat of nuclear annihilation also seems to have been an important factor in the rise of the new theater. And at the same time, the theater of the absurd also seems to, have been a reaction to the disappearance of the religious dimensions from contemporary life. Uh, Contemporary life. And the absurd theater can be seen as an attempt to restore the importance of myth and ritual to our age by making man aware of the ultimate realities of his condition, and by instilling in him again the lost sense of cosmic wonder and anguish. The absurd theater hopes to achieve this by shocking man out of an existence that has become trifle and meaningless, mechanical and complacent. It is felt that uh, there is mystical experience in confronting the limits of human condition. Well, as a result, absurd plays assumed a highly unusual, innovative, form, directly aiming to startle the viewer and shaking him out of this comfortable, conventional life of everyday concerns. In the meaninglessness, in the meaningless and godless post Second World War, in the world of meaningless and godless post Second War, it was no longer possible to keep using such traditional art forms and standards that had ceased being convincing and lost their validity. The theater of the absurd openly rebelled against conventional theater. Indeed, it was we can call it anti-theater, but it was surreal, illogical, conflictless, and plotless as well. Plotlessness is one of the most remarkable features of the theater of the absurd, which we'll see in the play of Samuel Beckett, Waiting for Godot. The dialogue seemed total gobbledygook, and not expectedly, the theater of the absurd first met with incomprehension and rejection. Well, one of the most important aspects of the absurd plays was its absurd, but its distrust of language as a means of communication. Language had become a vehicle of conventionalized, stereotyped, and meaningless exchanges.